The Critshow contains elements of horror, fantasy violence, and adult language. Content warnings can be found in the episode description.
I'm just trying to make sure I'm close enough to the microphone for Rev. Oh.
Only when you do the test.
Let me just get way up on here.
No.
Get on in there.
Oh, let me just do the episode from here. Hello, everybody. Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the Critshow.
No, you got to commit to the bit.
I don't know if
son
I don't
of
know
a
if the
bitch.
audio's going to turn out at all.
Oh, I'll make it work.
Okay. All right. Hello, everybody. And welcome back to the Critshow, where we're playing the clockwinders.
It's like a Macho Man Randy Savage, but a little orgasmic.
But sensual.
Yeah.
Hey, everybody. This is your Macho Man.
ASMR channel.
The cream rises to the top.
If you know what I mean.
I've got you for 45 minutes
of playtime. This is tragic. Anyway, we're going to play a game, and that game is called The Clockwinders.
Hey!
Last time, our heroes remained separated. Einon followed a friendly fox who delivered him a message, something cryptic and frankly ridiculous, if I do say so myself. But he bit on that particular hook because he's a good sport, and he wandered into the mists of the forest, where ultimately he encountered an elk who delivered him just a fun new cryptic message. Meanwhile, Maxine and Kade navigated the first, only, perhaps, challenge of the Forges, traversing this room of magical fires and traps in a race against time, trying to light a brazier that would grant them access to the next room. But Kade got smart, and he bypassed that whole cloth.
After only an hour.
Just putting a little pressure on you at the beginning will really shut your brains off, for sure.
Yeah.
But you came to. And that is where we find ourselves, with Kade and Maxine on their way into the next chamber, and Einon in the presence of this elk. And I think we'll resume with Einon. So this elk has told you that you carry the breath of a withering tree, which, judging by the last riddle, seems like it probably refers to Radigan. That its roots once ran strong, but they are damaged, and it has asked you to find them and mend them so that the debt can be repaid.
I think about it for a long moment and get the little scroll back out that I had been given and just kind of hold it in my palm. I care deeply for this world, for nature. I'm not sure that I understand. What is this breath that I hold?
The elk says, "You who cares deeply for nature are a kindred spirit. You will find your answers in the mists."
I am willing to do what I can to help, though I'm afraid in this moment that worry over my companions is going to cloud my vision. I don't fancy myself a particularly clever man, but I am observant, and all that I feel right now, aside from the curiosity that I'm trying to cling to, is worry about whether my friends are in danger.
There is a moment of consideration from this elk, and its eyes glow with this golden light. And from a viewer's perspective, if we cut to Kade and Maxine walking through the forges with the salamander in tow, we'd see that gold light like briefly reflected in that salamander's eyes, and then it kind of like looking around as if it has sensed something. But I don't think Kade and Maxine noticed that. But the elk's eyes clear, and it says, "Your friends undergo trials, but they come out successful. They are safe. You have taught them well."
Wow. Okay, so this is all very specific. This elk, the whole situation. How do I vibe check here? Is there something like a lore roll for, situations like this where these entities have asked for help? Or, even more mundane, I don't know, like a rapport or investigate or something to just get a vibe check on how genuine I find this creature.
Einon's like, I fucking know when an elk is lying to me.
I've been here before. Not again, elk.
But yeah, there's, I think, forever now going to be a part of the back of Einon's mind that's like, is Sevna doing this? Am I being thrown off a trail?
I want to say that this doesn't necessitate a roll. I guess something interesting could come of a misinterpretation, though. So I'd say overcome with empathy, but I think you're just trying to beat a 0. This thing's not trying to, conceal anything from you. So this is more about just, do you fucking misread this or not?
All right.
What, do you have, negative empathy?
I have 0.
All right.
Here we go. -1. But
you got a pocket full of fate points.
I do. And I also have a boost from figuring out some of this stuff that I think I want to call legends in the fog. There are just these tales of these natural creatures that look for help in these ways, and this is sort of reminiscent of those tales.
Okay. You invoke Legends of the Fall, and
Brad Pitt is there.
Brad Pitt comes and saves you.
Yeah.
Brad Pitt jumps onto the back of this elk, and they ride away together, and they live a happy life. And the fog clears. You're good to go.
Okay.
All right, that'll get you to a 1. So,
yes.
Yeah, the elk passes the vibe check. You can tell that it's not trying to hide anything from you. It is being honest. It does seem like somehow it has intel on your people, and it's telling you the truth. They are fine without you.
All right. Then I give this elk another bow. All right. If you say so, then I will put my worries at ease, and I will do what I can. Though any sort of hint or direction you might point me, I've been following instinct as best I can here, because that feels right. And if that is the course, then I will continue.
The elk says, "That is the way of nature, and so it is your way."
Then I promise I will do all that I can. Peace be with you.
And also with you. Lift up your hearts.
The elk does the sign of the cross and walks into the forest.
I will give a final bow, put my hat back on.
What's with all the bowing?
It feels right. I'm going by instinct, aren't I?
Oh, shit, yeah. It bows. It bends its front legs. Oh, for sure.
My truest instinct is to leap upon your back and ride around, because
Hell yeah.
that sounds right. I'm going to jump onto its back.
All right, as you run to jump onto its back, the fog closes in around you and it seems to vanish.
That's fair. All right.
You clatter to the ground because you were expecting to land on an elk and there's nothing there.
Put my hand out as if to put my hand on its back and leap up, and there's nothing, and I just go straight to the ground.
Yep.
Well, I'm muddy and bruised, but onward must I go.
Yeah, I think you hit the ground, you face plant into the mud, you stand up and you wipe some of it off your face. And as you clear your eyes, you are looking at a completely different place than you just were. It is still within the woods. The trees are thinner here. It is not just a glade, but it is not as densely packed as much of the forest that you have traversed so far. And there are people and tents and small structures out around here, as if a very small kind of impermanent settlement.
I immediately make my way towards one of the closest people. Hello there.
You approach one of these figures. It's an older man. He's bald. He is wearing a robe that looks like it's woven of some kind of like fairly rough, like a hemp or something, some natural fiber. And at first, like, he doesn't even seem to notice you. Like, as you walk up and say hello there, he's like looking through you.
I track that and like step aside and like walk around him, like observing, and try again. Hello?
Why don't you give me an overcome with investigate to draw conclusions from your observations here? I think you're just trying to beat a 2.
4.
All right. As you move around him, you kind of test his perception of you. You get the impression that, like, you're like a ghost. Like, he doesn't seem to be aware of you. He doesn't seem to perceive you. This isn't explicitly real. But I think you also get the impression that, like, if it's what you wanted, you could make yourself noticed. You could interact. But, like, by default, this isn't real. You're kind of observing something that has already happened. And just because you make yourself perceptible, it doesn't mean it's going to change anything.
Fascinating. And I, like, try to touch him, like, with the kind of assumption that my hand will move through him and just, like, see what happens. And, like, I'm just trying to move through the space and see how I affect it generally.
Yeah, I mean, like, you reach out to touch him, like, hoping it works or hoping it doesn't?
Like, kind of hoping I don't touch him.
Okay, then, I mean, yeah, I think, like, as you reach out, you do kind of, like, vaguely pass through him. It's not like there are no wisps or anything.
Yeah.
It's just kind of, like, hard to even perceive. You know, you don't really see yourself kitty pried through him. You just, like, don't feel any corporeal feedback and something seems off.
Okay. My goodness. I wonder if I need to observe long enough to find something that has happened, or if my intervention in some way will shift reality. So I'm just gonna keep observing for a little bit. I think I'm gonna make my way through the space wherever they're, like, camping, I know is sort of the wrong word, but settling for the moment, and see if I can find anyone doing anything noteworthy, see if something stands out.
As you are moving about the space and watching, you can tell that this is some sort of, like, collective. Everybody here is dressed similarly, with the exception of, like, children, but all of the adults or people of age, so to speak, are wearing those similar rough natural robes. It's sort of reminiscent of Geth. It seems like the people here are, like, hunters and trappers, but, like, there's almost like a faith to it, an excess of reverence for the natural world that you are observing. Very tender care to the felling of trees, the utilization of hides. Like, the people here seem to be very gentle and precise about their interaction with the forest.
Okay. If I'm, like, taking a really close look at this as they're doing things, do I get a sense of this being like Geth's past? Like, just any landscape things, trees that remain that maybe were bigger or, you know, something like that?
No, this landscape still seems unfamiliar to you.
Okay.
It doesn't seem like it's the other side of the planet or anything, but it is like, it's not woods that you've walked so far.
Okay.
But I think you do spot among these people a familiar-looking face, albeit much younger, much less weathered and grizzled. You recognize a young Radigan.
Okay, like how, like a child?
Nope, like late teens, early 20s.
Wow, okay. Then, yeah, I'm sure gonna follow him. I want to see what he's up to and see if whatever he was doing at this age kind of leads me to an idea of whatever these twisted roots might mean.
Okay. You catch him when he is carrying water, as if he is traveling back from a stream. He has got a couple of buckets on a stick across his shoulders that he walks back towards the middle of camp and sets down in a common area. And he gets them dumped into a larger barrel where they belong. He gets the buckets squared away, and he sits down for a moment to rest. And you see him pull out a small journal and open it up, and he actually starts sketching in it. You can see standing over his shoulder that it's just the landscape ahead of him, part of the settlement, part of the forest and the trees beyond it. But excluding any of the people moving about in between, except one. There is a young woman who is sitting a short ways ahead of him. She is sharpening an axe with a honing stone, and she is included in his sketch.
I'm very fascinated by this aspect. Remind me, is like drawing something we know of him? Did Kade find anything like that in his hut?
I don't think it's something that we specifically talked about, but I think, like, in hindsight, if you were to ask Kade, like, there were just some, sketches of, like, leaves with safe-to-eat berries and, like the kind of shit that you do in your journal. Not, like, art, but, like, documentation.
Sure.
Some of that was around his home, and this is sort of a step beyond that. This seems more like art.
Okay, interesting. Beautiful work, old boy. Well, young man, I suppose. I'm trying to go off of instinct here, and I kind of straighten my shoulders, and I kind of sit, if you can call it that, sit ghostly close to him. I might be thinking too literally about this, and I breathe on him. And I'm thinking about that breath I hold. I just kind of, and just pause and watch and see if anything has happened.
So, is the intention to be perceived here?
I think maybe, yeah.
Okay. You at him, and he kind of flinches and looks over at you, and seems to notice you, seems to be aware of you.
Oh, hello there.
Hello.
Ratigan?
Yes.
Hello, I'm Einon. I sort of know you, though you wouldn't remember me.
Were you a previous member of our conclave?
No, just a passer-through.
Oh, he closes up his journal and holds out a hand to shake.
I shake his.
It's nice to remake your acquaintance. Are you passing through again?
Yes, I think I am. I must say, I didn't get any detail. What, is the manner of this conclave?
Well, we look after the forest. As it looks after us, we're, wardens of a sort, I suppose. It seems like as long as we're considerate and conscientious that the forest provides for us what we need. So we live in harmony. He kind of shrugs like it's a silly thing to say, but...
Yes, I certainly get that from the way you all move through space. You have such an ingrained reverence to you that is very nice to see.
Well, that's kind of you. If you're, passing through, if you're heading back out into the woods, be cautious. We've heard that there's fighting breaking out in the area between people and the Fae, and it sounds like it's turning kind of rough out there, so move with caution.
Thank you. I hadn't heard that specifically. Are there any groups in particular that I should be aware of? Any names?
Oh, not to my knowledge. We just hear whispers occasionally of goings-on, but we keep to ourselves. Our job is to protect the forest, and so we stay here and we do it. Period.
It's very noble. Your work there is quite stunning.
He kind of looks down at the journal a little sheepishly. Oh, thank you.
I keep a similar journal. I write down quite a bit of what I see. Animals, fae, plants, of course. Things that are important. But I'm not much of an artist myself. Make sure you don't lose that part as you go through life. Draw the things that, that you enjoy as well. As I kind of specifically look that he'd drawn this one person and glance up towards her and back to him.
He blushes a little bit and clears his throat. Your wisdom is appreciated, Einon. Thank you.
I'm sorry I've really set upon you here in the middle of your camp.
No, it's all right. I should probably get back to Chorin, though.
Yes, of course. I myself have a task that, have you ever felt that there's something not right, something that needs fixing, but you can't quite grasp on to where that feeling is pointing you?
Yes, I should say that I have.
I'm dealing with a bit of that today, Ratigan. I'll let you get back to it. Just, if you start to get that feeling, I'll be close for a little while. Call out, and I'd be happy to assist you.
He kind of furrows his brow, but gives a small nod. Okay, thank you. I hope I hope things reveal themselves to you.
God's alive, me too.
He stands up and shakes your hand again, and then grabs a big sack of grain that is in this common area and moves off to feed the animals.
Okay. I think I sort of dissipate again, so to speak. I remove myself from being perceived. Boy. So, yeah, I'm just considering this place and this young man and what his future will be. And I think I start walking into the forest again, and I'm trying to, keep in mind the goal and the elk's words, but also clear my mind again, similar with the fog, and follow that instinct of, what's going to lead me to these roots, these twisted roots, however that's going to manifest.
All right. As you surrender yourself to the mists, let's jump back over to Kade and Maxine. Your trio has passed through this door on the other side of the lava danger room. And again, the salamander is this time following you down a hall. It just doesn't seem like there's any way to go but down this hall, so he's not leading you. It is, again, the same beautiful, intricately carved stonework, and it leads down for a minute and a half, just a walk straight down this hallway before you hit a small chamber that seems to just be a perfect square, 15 foot by 15 foot. And in this room, there is another one of those braziers against the far wall from where you come out. There is, again, a torch above it, and seemingly nothing else. It's like a dead end.
I'm checking the floor for holes.
You do not see any holes in the floor.
Oh, thank gosh. Okay, well, it doesn't seem like fire is going to sprout up out of the floor here.
Did you say we were going down?
Not any further down from the danger room.
Okay.
You went down to get to the danger room.
Down the hallway, but not down the hallway.
Yeah. So we don't have to worry about lava coming in from above.
Correct.
Gosh. People have to go through all this stuff to come to work here back when it was operational?
I don't know. This is really complex. It seems like they should just have a key, right?
I guess maybe the workers didn't come down here. It was just the clockwinders and the salamanders.
I was wondering when I was making this, I was taking a mental bet with myself, going, how long is it going to be before they go, people had to go through this to get to work?
The second one.
Yep. And I got narrative justification.
Can't wait.
If it ever comes around.
Did it not just come around?
You gotta learn it.
Oh, I see.
Yeah, I'll study this brazier, see if what I can find might be hooked up to it or anything that leads any place or, yeah.
That was so inspired. Fucking, parts, stuff. Places.
I'm the mechanist.
Yeah.
Anyway, I'm the mechanist. Burglary, please. Okay. Why don't you overcome with investigate, trying to beat a 4?
4.
Do you want to try to bump that up, or do you want to accept the tie?
Is it too late? We did well scrutinize those ones above. Is that gone now, or can I, since it was the same kind of brazier?
Oh, okay. I would have said that it was tied to that chamber, but I think because there are common elements, I'll let you use that one.
Okay. It's gone now.
Okay.
It can't hurt you anymore.
I mean, it just doesn't have free invokes on it.
No, it can't hurt you for free anymore.
That's true. All right. So you investigate the brazier and the torch, and you do see similar indicators that these are triggers of some sort. It actually looks like both of them are triggers, though they will perform different functions. And I think looking around the rest of the room, knocking on the walls and shit, especially looking at where the hallway you just came out of meets the edge of this room, you can tell that this whole chamber you're in can shift, can move, or rotate. And I think you remember that one of the key things you knew about this place was that it was maze-like, that these are ways to trigger the chamber to go one direction or another to get you further through the maze and towards the forges.
Okay. So I think that one of these, either the torch or the brazier, are gonna make the room move. And so the door that we just used might be the door that we used, but it'll go someplace else.
Okay, well, this room doesn't have a fire source to draw from, ready to go. Goodness, is there any way to see what way it usually goes? Like, if this was designed for people to take a certain path all the time, it makes sense that there might be wear from that direction being used most of all.
Oh, maybe.
Okay, you look over there, I'll look over here.
Okay.
And I'm very much thinking, like, looking for scuffs on the floor by a bookshelf to see if, like, oh, there's marks that show, like, this has been opened this way a bunch of times. It leaves an impression.
I may be misunderstanding your intent.
To get the answer.
Both of the things that will make room go are right here in front of you.
Yes.
That you know. So you're trying to see if one of those shows, like,
more use. Because if one of them is the wrong thing to use, it's going to be less used. It would only kind of be used by people that didn't know they weren't supposed to use it.
Okay. I don't think I'm going to have you roll this. What I will tell you is they seem to show equal signs of use.
It looks like this brazier's been used quite a bit. What about you?
Yeah, same with the torch holder.
Okay, so dead end. Maybe they have to be used together?
Yeah.
Do you think the room moves, like, left to right or up or down or...
Yes.
Oh, goodness. Okay.
Yeah. I mean, I could be more than, I don't know. If I could, like, see the outside of the room. If I could see the outside of the room, I might be able to figure it out. But that means you'd have to, like, trigger the room while I'm not in it.
Oh.
Yeah.
Okay. I can do that.
But then there's gonna be a wall between us, and I don't like that.
Right, but you could get a better viewpoint of how this entire mechanism works.
Yeah.
Okay, you get out. I'll light this. Wait, should I light the torch or the brazier first? Let's start with the torch.
Okay. Yeah, I will leave the room.
Where's the salamander going?
He's like looking at you confused as you exit the room and like looking back at you. It's like a dog who loves both his owners and he doesn't know which one to follow. He seems to opt to stay in the room.
Okay, great. See you in a moment, hopefully.
Yeah, for sure.
And I'll light the torch.
Okay. You light the torch with the still lit torch that you have in your possession from the last room. And you hear some like mechanical metal and stone grinding through the walls, but your room does not shift.
Okay. I heard some stuff move.
Yeah, nothing happened. Did it sound like... So I'm in the hallway.
Uh-huh.
And we can still see each other, right? Because I didn't move.
Yes.
Did the grinding sound like it was coming from either like left or right or above or below of me in the hallway? Or did it sound like it was coming from around?
It was coming from me and the salamander.
Just picturing you delivering like, I don't know, I didn't do anything, but I heard some stuff, but you're just grinding on the salamander.
Just breaking it down.
He's undulating very serpent-like. He can bump and grind like no human can.
Yeah.
What was the question?
The sound seems like it is coming from like, I'm trying to think how to explain this. Not like the sides. Oh God.
Stroke.
Is it coming from the far wall where the torch was, where I lit this? Or is it coming from like up, down, side, or side?
All right. If where this hallway turns into this room is like a barrier that like extended nebulously through the walls,
yeah,
all the sound you heard is beyond that barrier.
Okay.
It is not back on your side. It is not on the sides of the hallway, but it does sound like it's coming from multiple points relative to the room that Maxine is standing in.
Okay. And could we tell multiple points like high, low, left, right, or it was like, oh, up and left and down and right, or
is it too echoey because this is
Yeah.
just a big stone room?
Do both of you have notice?
Oh, yeah.
Give me a teamwork notice. Whose is higher?
Probably you? Question mark? Mine's 3.
Mine is also 3.
Okay. So either one of you roll it with an extra +1.
I think Kade should roll it because he's specifically the one that's trying to like observe what happens when I
yeah.
light these.
All right. This seems like you're trying to like reveal a truth. Like I think we're creating an advantage, but like unexisting advantage here. We're maybe getting invokes on unexisting truth. So go ahead and roll notice to create an advantage, and you're trying to beat. I'm going to say a 4.
4.
I'll spend a fate point to help out with that.
By invoking what?
Can I invoke Leave It to the Professionals? Because we have decided to specifically place Kade where he is to understand how this works. He is the mechanist. He's the professional. I know this.
Okay. I feel like I'm learning your all tells. I feel like you get quieter when you're trying to sell something that you're not totally confident in. I feel like you get kind of like, a little bit more gentle and like straightforward and like a business person.
Yeah, there's no way you could dispute what I'm saying because I'm saying it so confidently and factually.
Yeah, like a studied librarian.
It's embarrassing giving that shit up. I don't even have any.
Okay, so that will get Kade to a success. Anything else anyone wants to spend to bump that up another level to a success with style?
Sure.
What are you going to do?
I just believe in them so much.
An elk told me they were fine, so they must be fine.
Yeah. The elk said they're fine, so this is going to happen just fine.
So this aspect is called the elk never lies.
That's right.
So I'm at a 6. I had to beat a 4. We're trying to get to a 7.
A 7 would get you style and an additional invoke.
Yeah. I'm going to invoke the ads. And then I'm going to invoke I notice what's out of place.
All right. You succeed with style. I'm going to call this aspect runs like clockwork.
That's like we wind those.
Yeah.
Oh, man.
You've got 2 free invokes on it. And I don't want to draw you a precise map or anything, but I will tell you that your character understands, will understand what function is triggered by each thing and how they relate to each other. You do hear, 2 other things somewhere move or rotate at once. And I don't want to be as specific as it's the top left and the right middle or anything. We don't have to get that granular.
It don't matter.
But you do know, all right, I can tell from the sound and the feel of that, those 2 things in these places were triggered by that action, and they were perfect. They were perfectly in sync. They did exactly what they were supposed to do on that trigger, and only that.
Okay. So understanding that, how do I make the jump to what I think I should do?
Mm-hmm. I think you understand that in the worst case scenario, you could trial and error this, and it would take time, but that's all it would really take you. Unless you, forgot what you had done or been doing. But you 2 being quite bookish and intelligent, you think that's unlikely to happen. So in this first chamber, there's only one other thing to hit right now. You know that they are used with equal frequency, so they must both need to be deployed. So if you now light the brazier, presumably that will cause this chamber to move. And then lighting the torch has already moved something that would also need to happen to advance you through the maze.
I see. Okay. I will step back into the room. Okay, I think that you can hit the brazier with that torch. And I'll just kind of explain that idea that it all works, and as long as we
yeah.
As long as we do the thing.
Kade, you're sweating.
Yeah, I am.
Pretty bad.
It's hot down here.
It's really hot. Are you delirious?
I don't like it. Yeah, I think we got to see what's in the next. 'Cause I had the thought that this might turn us to different doorways, but I think the room only does a thing once you've done it correctly. So we got to finish this room and then see what it shows us next, and then we got to do that one thing correctly, so on and so forth.
Okay, I'll light the brazier, and I do so.
Okay. The entire room that you are standing in parts from the hallway as it rotates like a gravitron. Kind of moving on 2 planes at once so that the corner can clear that hallway before it kind of sets you back in. You are now facing just another chamber. It's basically like the size of the one you're in has doubled. It's just another big open space here. You were watching just a stone wall go by, and then this other room started to present itself, and as you lock into place, you're just in a room that is now 15 by 30, essentially.
Okay, I wasn't expecting it to do 2 things. I thought we were going to rotate or rise up and down, But we moved on many planes at once. That was unsettling.
Well, no, okay. You basically rotated, but it was a square having to rotate rather than a circle having to rotate, so it
Yeah.
had to clear the wall that it was flush against.
Okay.
That's all. It's just a little bit of like an elliptical rotation, but it was still just a rotation.
Oh, okay.
All right, so we go into this next room, right? And do the same thing?
Yeah.
Want to look and see what's in here.
Okay. So in this next room, mirrored from your room, sort of, there is a brazier, just on like the opposite side.
And there's also a Kade and a Maxine.
Oh, God.
I high-five them.
No, don't do it.
There are also what look like 4 equally spaced pressure plates in this room, but no torch, just the brazier and the pressure plates.
How far away are the pressure plates from each other? Like, could we each reach 2?
How's your splits?
Not great.
How good are you at Twister?
Better.
Okay, that exists in this world. Got it.
Yeah, the movie Twister.
Yeah. I'm real good at watching that.
I'm real good at making tornadoes. I'm real good at throwing cows. I'm trying to visualize now. I think one of you could hit both of them. The room is 15 feet across, and the pressure plates are kind of like equally spaced in from each other and from each wall, so they're like within 5 feet of each other. Math is not.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, you could hit 2 of them at the same time.
Okay.
Absolutely. I knew that from the beginning.
Is the brazier lit?
No.
Okay, so should we start with a fire?
That, to me, well, I was going to say yes, but I wonder if we're supposed to be stepping on the place we're supposed to step on before we light it.
So, which plates? All of them? One of them? 3 of them? 2 of them?
I would hope one, unless everybody traveled in pairs.
But then how did they get through the first room? We had to do that as a pair.
We didn't have to.
Oh.
I just made it easier.
Oh, I see.
Yeah. Yeah, can we examine as Maxine did in the other room, like examine the pressure plates to see if any of them are more worn than others?
So, rather than running this like one room at a time and making you investigate and then do a thing and then investigate and do a thing, I want to run this more as a challenge. I want to give you guys a series of overcome actions that are kind of based on what you come up against in some of these rooms, and successful completion of those will get you through the rest of this puzzle. So I think we can kind of ride the investigates through each one of these. Like, you have done a good job discerning what's going on in these rooms. You will be able to determine the order and the actions that need to take place in them as you get to them, and just what those actions are might require a little bit extra from you.
Okay.
So in this first one, you are able to determine that stepping on, if we were kind of like numbering the pressure pads, stepping on like 3, each one you step on is going to get you like a quarter rotation, right? Like, depending on which one you step on. So you determine like, all right, if I step on pressure pad 3 here, that's going to get me this full rotation. And then if I light that brazier, it's going to drop the next room into place. And so you are able to do that
Oh,
one
I see.
without issue.
Okay.
And you are presented with another room with new obstacles. This one seems to have some sort of like sigil rings, just spreading out like ripples in a pond in the middle of this room. They seem to form some sort of code or pattern, and this one is going to be a lore roll. So I need somebody to overcome with lore.
I'll do it.
Okay. And you are trying to beat a 3.
I will aid you.
Okay. Then you've got at least a 1 in lore,
Yeah.
so you can grant a +1.
5.
Okay. So Maxine is able to translate the code of these rings and actually rotate them one by one to form the appropriate pattern that causes this room to both lift and rotate. You feel yourselves rise up like in an elevator car and twist, and you find yourselves facing another new room.
You know, I didn't think there would be this much math involved in a forge. I guess it makes sense.
I can't believe how impressive the path is to get there.
The next room you enter, unfortunately, has a floor full of familiar holes in it. Danger fire spout-esque holes, and another torch on the wall. But as this one presents itself to you, actually, the salamander just slithers forward and takes the end of that pole arm that he's carrying and drives it down into one specific one of those holes and there is a satisfying mechanical click that you hear under the ground. And then he just looks to you two and the torch.
Oh, well, thank you.
Yeah.
I didn't think we were going to get assistance in this, but I appreciate it.
And I will light the torch.
Okay. You light the torch, and again, the room spins. Just like wicked fast.
You fly out the open wall.
It just throws you out into the lava. The room rotates. It spins gingerly, revealing another room with another series of pressure plates and nothing else. These ones are laid out in the room in almost a hopscotch pattern. And again, like letting the investigate ride, you are able to determine that there is just a certain time and sequence in which these need to be hit. So I'm going to want one of you to give me an overcome with athletics, trying to beat a 3.
I mean, how hard could it be? I played hopscotch when I was a kid.
I watched other kids play hopscotch when I was a kid.
I'm starting at a -1.
Oof.
So,
You know what? And I'll tell you what.
Yeah.
And this is, I was thinking this before you made the roll. I am going to knock this down to only needing to be a 2, because I think you can hopscotch. I don't think hopscotching needs to be of good difficulty. I think it's fair difficulty.
Yeah, that's fair. So I will use one of our free invokes from studying the maze as a whole. Runs like clockwork. Are those still in effect? Was that just for that room, or that was...
No, that's
Nope,
that's
those are-
for all these challenges.
Okay.
Runs like clockwork. We've got 2 free invokes on it. Can he invoke both?
No, you can only invoke a given aspect once per roll.
And then, yeah, I am going to do how hard could it be. Like, I can do this. I can do this.
Okay. Eliminate that free invoke, spend a fate point. That bumps you up to a success. So you hopscotch these pressure plates, and you do so quickly enough that the ones before don't have time to, like, reset before you finish the sequence. And this room slides laterally, revealing another room, and this maze proceeds for a total of about 10 rooms like this. Each one you are able to determine what the action that needs to be taken is. You are able to perform that action, whether it is an order of operations, whether it is a matter of some speed. None of them seem, as you had determined from the beginning, Kade, failing at these is not going to dump you into the lava. You know that. Like, it is, even if it's a matter of trial and error and repetition until you get lucky, eventually, as long as you knew the right order, you could get through these.
Yeah.
So even though some of these do seem difficult, even with a couple of tries, you manage to get through all of them. Until the final room rotates and lowers somewhat substantially, and you feel the temperature rising again as you get lower. You are dropping down in this whole 15 by 15 room, just down a big shaft of what for the first time in here looks like just like rough-hewn stone on the walls. But you go down maybe a couple of stories before this room settles into place, and you are looking out into a large, beautiful, carved, extremely hot, glowing forge room. You can see that the forges themselves, there are 2 of them. They are massive. Think like fucking Iron Forge in World of Warcraft. Like,
Yeah.
it's huge. And there are, as you knew, the lava flows that were below the floors all around this place. The lava does flow freely, like, into those forges and beneath the forges. But they are not, at the moment, actually active. You know that the salamanders are sort of like the key ingredient in getting the forges refined, so to speak, and turning all of that raw power into something usable. In between them, on a stone platform that at a glance looks like it's suspended above the lava, but looking a little closer, you see that it actually touches the lava. It might extend down below it, actually. There is a gigantic statue of a sword and shield. The shield at the ground, like standing up. It is like a kite shield, like pointy at the bottom and kind of rounding up and flat on top. And then like as if emerging from up behind it, standing on its point, a beautiful long sword. These are both carved out of this same smooth white stone you've seen all over the place. They tower. They look like they extend up 40 feet or so to the pommel, I guess, of the sword. the bottom of the sword, which is at the top. And there are 4 catwalks that reach this statue. One from a forge on either side, one from kind of where you are entering this room, and one from the opposite side, on the far side beyond the forges. These catwalks look like they have seen better days. They are metal as opposed to stone, as most things are in here. They look like they have warped a bit, like they have suffered from the heat and the lack of maintenance over time, but they are, all 4 of them, there. They have not collapsed, and they don't necessarily look like they're threatening to, unless you do some dumb shit. What do you want to do?
Oh, God, it got so much hotter.
So tall.
What? Oh, the sword and the... Do you think that stone is, like, lava-proof?
Yeah, it extends down into it. I mean, it's gotta be, or else this whole thing would come down. Oh, look at those walkways. Where do you think the movement core is?
Yeah, they don't look as great as the stone. That's probably part of the maintenance. It wasn't... Yeah, start looking around, like, try to figure out where the movement core might be.
I don't think this necessitates a roll. Based on some of the things your characters know and some of the things that you have just spoken, it seems like it's probably somewhere in the depths of that platform with the statue on it. You have mentioned that, like, boy, it seems like that stone's like lava-proof. You know that some of the movement cores are like below grade. You know, they're tapped into the planet. It seems like making your way out to that and then figuring out how to access it from the statue, kind of like the clock within a clock tower.
Yeah.
It's probably where it is.
We might have to, like, go inside the sword or something and climb down a big ladder into the lava.
Into the lava?
Yeah, but the stone, like, yeah, I think it's probably down in the stone.
Okay. Well, then let's start looking for a sword door.
All right. I'm going to try to gingerly cross the scaffolding.
Okay. Again, I don't think that necessitates a roll. If you are being careful, if you're not doing anything silly, just taking your time, it is kind of harrowing. Again, it is sort of warped. Like, there are some places where it's like those spinny tunnels you got to walk through in a haunted house. Like, it's kind of leaning underneath you, but like not like blowing in a breeze. It just is twisted, so it feels weird.
And the metal's not dripping down into the lava.
Correct, yeah. It is also peculiarly not molten to the touch. Like, as you walk across this bridge that is suspended above the lava, your shoes aren't melting on it or anything. Somehow this metal, whatever it is like sufficiently cool to the touch. So the two of you get across to this, I wanted to say plinth. Is that a correct term for this platform in the middle?
I think so.
Hey, what's a plinth? Hey, hold on. Time out.
A heavy base supporting a statue or vase. The lower square slab at the base of a column.
Is it really?
Yeah.
I thought maybe you were fucking with me. I did not think that I like aced it that hard.
Yeah, you got it pretty hard.
It's interesting because I Google plinth, and the first thing it tells me about is pedestals.
Okay.
So it's
hell
just
yeah.
Like, did you want to be fancy when you're talking about a pedestal? Plinth it up,
Call it
baby.
a plinth. All right, you guys make your way over to the plinth. The salamander does not follow. He hangs back on the other side of the bridge. Doesn't seem like he's planning to dip or anything. He just doesn't seem like he wants to cross that shit, you fools. But you reach the base of this statue. Again, the sword sticks up like 40 feet. The shield a little over half that. What are you looking for?
Some sort of access panel. There's got to be a way in here. So maybe a hidden entrance or a way up higher if we don't find any. I'm curious about what all these extra catwalks go to. Like, I know 2 of them go to the forges, and then there's another one, and it just seems like a lot of access points that should have connecting ways.
Okay. Why don't you roll to overcome with investigate? And you got a pretty good idea of what you're looking for, and you've seen a few of these so far, so I think you're just trying to beat it too.
5.
All right, well, for what it's worth, you get a boost.
Yay!
You find that in the back of the shield, like between it and the sword, there is a seam in the stone that you are able to determine is a panel that slides down and basically folds away, revealing a hatch with a ladder that leads down into the depths of this plinth.
Aha! Perfect. Let's get out of this heat. Hopefully it's not hotter in there. If this thing is lava-proof, it's not, like, insulating?
Yeah, actually, like, as you open that, you do feel, like, cool air rush out of it and hit you.
I just imagine at that moment, Kade just pushes Maxine out of the way.
Get me out of here. This tank top is purely decorative.
I didn't mention it, but I gave him Tass's metabolism and heat. He's just like, I'm wearing a tank top in the winter because I gotta.
I don't have any other choice.
Head down the ladder.
All right.
Pirate style.
Okay, just sliding?
Yeah.
Okay. How's your brakes?
Good, I assume, because they're my shoes. My shoes are good.
There we go. All right. You descend this ladder. Feels like it leads you down another couple of stories. But surprisingly, it does not feel any hotter. Indeed, this stone seems like it's lava-proof, or, at least sufficiently insulating that you are not roasting down here. But you hit the ground and turn to face the chamber at the base of this plinth, the movement core chamber. You see an enormous anvil that seems to have, like, the top half of a dome of metal sort of poking out of it, where you would normally have the striking surface, within which it appears resides the movement core. And I think that is where we will leave it off this time round.
Ooh.
So, thank you. Tass is still here. Thank you for joining us for another episode of The Crit Show. If you want to learn more about the Clockwinders as a game or setting, or Fate as a system, you can find that info in the episode description. If you want to see or hear or wear any of the other stuff that we've made,
Taste.
I don't think we have a
You could.
tasteable. Have we posted any recipes or anything?
Yeah.
Well, there we go. On our Patreon at patreon.com/thecritshow.
Oh, also in our Discord, there's a whole kitchen channel, and people are constantly posting pictures of the most amazing looking foods and sharing the recipes.
It's true.
So,
We're good for all 5 senses.
especially looking at it.
Yeah. So check out patreon.com/thecritshow to get access to the much additional content we have, and to get your name read at the end of an episode, potentially, just like JJ Scout and George Banks. Thank you.
Not even potentially. I'll guarantee it.
Guaranteed, he says. And so when one of them slips through the cracks, now you
come for me.
You have the basis for the litigation against us. Great. So thanks for that, Rev, and thanks to everybody else for listening to another episode. Tune in next time for more Clockwinder adventures. Everybody tell them bye.
Bye.
Goodbye.
The Crit Show is a Critshow Studios production, edited and produced by Brandon Wentz, with music by Jake Purley. You can find more information about us at thecritshowpodcast.com. To keep up to date with upcoming live shows, contests, and other special events, follow us at The Crit Show on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. For even more weekly content, join us at patreon.com/thecritshow.